Yo, what's good, everyone? Little Jadam liquid fertilizer preparation with our leftover vegetables from this weekly CSA delivery. I'm going to be using Brandon Russ Microbe Plus as the inoculate. Obviously, leaf mold, if you're able, this is going to be a more common theme in some of my series here, is as options for people who are not able to be completely self-reliant. If you live in the city, apartment complex, you want to do the regenerative and sustainable approach, there are ways you can incorporate this into your lifestyle, even if you don't have the ability to forage or grow your own food. So this is, like I said, leftover from our weekly delivery. Check with your grocery store, check with local farms. You pick farms are really good about this. If they have extra stuff, they're going to trash it or compost it anyway. You can get it for free or a very cheap price. So some of the things, it's gourd season, melons and gourds, fantastic nutrient source for Jadam liquid fertilizer or K&F ferment. So just real quickly, three of these things here. So beets, cucumbers, and potatoes. All right. Potato has 40% more calcium than a banana. So people that are going to the store and buying bunches of bananas to make a banana FPJ, for instance, in a Korean natural farming, you may not realize that the banana industry is wildly corrupt, and buying fruits that have been transported halfway across the world is kind of irresponsible for us as cultivators if our goal is to reduce our carbon footprint and close the loop. A potato is a fantastic source of other micros, but it's 40% more potassium, great source of sugars for the microbiology to propagate in that fertilizer solution. Same thing, cucumbers, extremely high calcium and potassium values as well, magnesium, all your trace minerals here. Beets, the rest of the trace minerals, iron. There's check with Dwight Schrute or Luna, All Day Luna. I'm not sure what her actual real name is. She's out in Colorado, I believe. But she incorporates beets into a lot of her recipes. I just started reading into her stuff. She's got it going on there as well. Beets, zucchini, any gourd, any melon is going to be nutrient dense. Just think of the energy required, the water inside that to help with the fermenting process. Beans, great nitrogen sources here. Onions, trace elements as well. So it's not going to hurt anything to put the mixed bag. I got some strawberries, blueberries. I'm going to chop this up into small pieces. So again, talking about organics is mostly about surface area available for the microbiology to act on. So the smaller you cut these pieces up in, the quicker the putrefaction process can begin and the quicker it can finish. I just chunk stuff up about this size. I'm not going to dice and mince everything. It will get to where it needs to go with stuff this size. So just kind of rough processing this stuff out. Chunk the cucumbers into thirds. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't even have to be cut all the way through. So just as long as you're exposing the innards, any kind of gourd, anything with a tough skin like a pumpkin, squash, acorn squash, it's the season for gourds. So those are great for fermenting and putrefaction. But if you just stuck a pumpkin, the exterior is designed, it's evolved to be a sealed container and protect that fruit over winter until the seeds can be regenerated in the following season. So even if you just take a knife and pierce the flesh on those, that's going to increase or decrease the putrefaction time by exponential amounts. So super important, get that chunked up if you can. If you have the time, patience, desire, energy to mince all the stuff up, you could do it in a food processor. If you have access, blender, food processor, something that would make your life easier. But see, these just chunks of beets to expose the inner flesh, so the microbiology has plenty of surface area to act on. So again, just kind of rough chunking this stuff up so the insides are exposed. Small stuff, strawberry, soft skin, that's going to be fine whole in there. Just things like the beets with the tough exterior, firm flesh, you at least want to pierce that exterior flesh. And you can do beans the same way. Just a couple of chops to get that interior exposed. The onions, it doesn't have to be pretty. Like I said, you just want to make the pieces a bit smaller. The smaller they are, the quicker it will go. So just keep that in mind and don't kill yourself trying to get everything cut up evenly the same size. The shard can go in there whole, it doesn't need to be cut up. Same thing with the carrots. And while the carrots are a little bit more of a firm vegetable, they'll be digested just fine in their whole form like that. And that's it. So I'll save you the remaining few minutes of cutting, and I'm going to fill this bucket to this top line. I'm going to leave a little bit of a head space in the bucket. You don't want the material to come all the way up to the very top. We're going to fill this up with water as well, put about 4.5 gallons of water in there, and then add the Micro Plus to that. And this is going to be the catalyst in that putrefaction and digesting. The microbiology present in the Micro Plus is going to start to break this stuff down. I'm going to use a lid on this, and I was planning on waiting for the airlock. I have an airlock, a canning airlock off of Amazon, very cheap and very effective for this purpose. So you don't want to seal this up tight because this anaerobic process will off-gas CO2. If it's a sealed container, that means explosion, and this stuff stinks. You don't want a stinky bomb going off in your basement. So yeah, airlock or a semi-sealed container, and this is going to sit and putrefy for about 4 months. So this will be early spring for next year, whenever this is ready to use. So find a spot out of the way, and I like this lid from Ace Hardware because I can put an airlock on the side here. So the airlock can go in on the side, and that's just a water trap that allows the gas to exit the vessel without allowing fresh air in. It's just a little two-way, it looks like an ash catcher almost. So I'm gonna install the airlock on the side of these buckets, and that will allow me to stack 3 or 4 vertical buckets so I can have a few different putrefaction buckets going at the same time. And that's gonna be an overwinter project. So that's important with Jadam practices, is it does take a bit longer than the KNF fermentation process, so you need to be anticipating your input needs, 5 to 6 months down the road, especially if we're talking fish amino is more Korean natural farming, but that's a topic I will dive into tomorrow. I'm going to go pick up a load of fresh fish, so I'm going to finish chopping this up, get the bucket topped off, and we'll check back in tomorrow and talk fish.